Big boost coming in for India's evacuation efforts from Afghanistan. Top government sources have told India today that in a bid to further efforts and speed up evacuation of India has been allowed to operate 2 flights per day from Kabul to bring its citizens safely back home. India Today brings you these exclusive details about India's evacuation plan. India is going to be taking help from American security forces who are at the patrolling runway of the airport. Currently, a total of 25 flights are being operated by the Americans and NATO forces in Afghanistan who are focusing on evacuating US citizens. There are about 300 Indians still stranded in Kabul. India has been evacuating its citizens through the Shanbay, Tajikistan and Qatar route. Indian government is also in touch with the officials on ground to negotiate smooth entry of Indian citizens into crowded Kabul airport complex and allow them to board the flight. And Panjshir continues to be the epicenter of resistance against the Taliban, the only hope to millions of Afghans in the war-torn country. But worrying reports are now coming in that a truce has been struck between Taliban and Panjshir resistance. Khalil-ur-Rahman Haqqani, one of the founders of the Gani network, in a video has claimed that Ahmad Masood has pledged allegiance to the Taliban. Meanwhile, Panjshir resistance has said that Ahmad Masood is negotiating with Taliban over a comprehensive government and no agreement or alliance for now has been agreed upon. Panjshir is one of the 34 provinces of Afghanistan, and what sets it apart is that it has never been captured by the Taliban, even after Kabul fell to the Islamic terrorist group.
Ahmad Masood, the Shaheed Masood, Atal Kahraman Commandant Zai,
First, Ashraf Ghani fled the country and left the people of Afghan in the middle of the war. Now his brother Hashmat Ghani has gone a step further. He has reportedly joined the Islamic terrorist group Taliban. Hashmat Ghani joined the Taliban in the presence of Khalil Haqqani, America's most wanted man, with a bounty of $5 million on his head. Hamid, amid all of this, Taliban co-founder Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar has reached Kabul from Kandahar to hold talks on establishing a new government.
Anger, uncertainty, helplessness, and a sense of betrayal. Afghan citizens are feeling let down not just by the world but also by their own leadership after the Taliban swept back to power. First, it's President Ashraf Ghani, the man who was trusted by over 3 crore Afghans, fled the country the moment Kabul fell to Taliban. Now his brother Hashmat Ghani Ahmadzai has gone a step further. He has reportedly joined the Taliban. The visuals on your screen show Hashmat Ghani pledging alliance to the Taliban in the presence of its leaders Khalil-ur-Rahman Haqqani and Mufti Mahmood Zakir. Forehead kisses and hugs were exchanged as Hashmat Ghani vowed to support those that drove his brother away. Khalil Haqqani is one of America's most wanted terrorists with a $5 million bounty on his head.
The heightened activities of the proscribed Haqqani network justifies this growing anxiety. Whether it is in Afghanistan or against India, groups like Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed continue to operate with both impunity and encouragement.
Hashmat Ghani's business empire is spread in the UAE, the same place where Ashraf Ghani has taken refuge after fleeing Kabul. With one Ghani brother in exile and another cozying up to the terror group, the Afghan people have been left to fend for themselves. Bureau Report, India Today.
Afghan women are the most vulnerable under Taliban regime. The country's first female mayor, Zarifa Ghaffari, broke down into tears while expressing her plight to India Today. She narrated the ordeal of Afghan women and the anxiety with which they are living at present. Here's a report coming in.
The Taliban rule is back.
Taliban are beating everyone, they are killing everyone, they are destroying everything. And yeah, everyone thinks that it's time to just leave because international community left us at the middle of a war or at the middle of a crisis.
And Afghan women are a worried lot. They are making desperate appeals.
War is not a solution. Killing people is not a solution. How many people you need to kill? How many people you will kill?
Their future looks uncertain and covered in darkness. It took 2 decades for Afghan women to step out and make a mark for themselves. But with return of Taliban, they fear it was all in vain.
We went so far, we struggled so far, 21 years, but now we have nothing. We are back at the zero.
Women like Mayor Zarifa Ghaffari, who were an inspiration for many, are now living in fear.
They searched my house, they took my car away, they did everything. They were searching for me, and they went to my husband's house, to my relative house, to my friend's house, and everywhere they were searching me.
Zarifa is the first woman governor of Afghanistan, but now she's being threatened by Taliban.
I don't think they could govern. I don't think they could lead a government.
The 27-year-old broke down in tears while sharing her pain with India Today. Ghaffari was a senior member of the Ashraf Ghani-led government. Her father, General Abdul Wasi Ghaffari, was gunned down by terrorists in November last year. Even as Taliban promised better opportunities for women under their new regime, the ground realities suggest a different story. Taliban men defaced women posters outside salons and abducted Governor Salima Mazari. The brutality of gun-toting Taliban men on Afghan women is known to all. And given the barbaric history of Taliban, it is difficult to believe that they have changed their ways. Bureau Report, India Today.
India Today's Neha Mordani spoke to former Afghan judge Qazi Marzia, who fled the country in the wake of Taliban atrocities. Listen in.
What do you think the Taliban intends to do now? Because the kind of message that they're trying to send out is that this is going to be different. Women are going to be, not persecuted. We're going to involve them even in government. Do you believe what the Taliban says? Have they had a change of heart? Is it going to be any different from what we saw the last time around?
I do not believe the Taliban. People in Afghanistan do not believe them because we know the Taliban. We know their strategy. We know who they are and what they did for Afghanistan. My personal experience with the Taliban, what the worst experience I have in my life. When I left Afghanistan, the age of 43, it was not an easy decision I made. Left everything behind, my home, my status, my career as a judge, and my lovely family, my mother. Everything I left. Because of who? Because of the Taliban. Because of the Taliban, they are treating women like not as a human being. I don't know, just they have a special nefrat. It's a big question in my mind. Why Taliban, they are just hate women? Why? I don't have answer for this.
Now we are seeing Qazi, Marzia, like a lot of people in Afghanistan are wanting to leave Afghanistan. They've been desperate to leave Afghanistan. What comes to your mind when you see these pictures? These horrific images of people actually trying to get onto the wing of an aircraft and then losing their lives in the process. Just trying to escape the country. Some people have picked up their children and given it to the UK forces that anywhere but Afghanistan. What comes to your mind when you see these pictures and reports?
Of course, this all my bad memories coming back, and I feel so sorry about my country, about my people. We don't deserve this, to be honest. We worked very hard to achieve something. We lost everything for one night. Of course, it's difficult for me to survive to see my people in this situation. It is so tough for me. For every woman in the world, it's tough. It's difficult. It's difficult.
You know, we completely understand. We've been having a conversation with lots of women from Afghanistan. Many of them are brave and say, we don't want to leave. This is our home. Many say that we just want to get out because we have no hope for the future, really. But, you know, what comes to your mind when the US president says, we did what we could? This was not our job. You know, the Afghan military was supposed to be fighting for its people. They did not do it, so we had to be there for 2 decades. But now we simply had to leave. What comes to your mind when Western forces speak in this language?
To be honest, I can't go to judge the strategy they made because they're their decision. But for Afghanistan and for Afghan people, is a good lesson for us to become more united and fight for our country and save our country from the Taliban and from any terrorist group in the world.
Thousands of Afghan people gathered in central London to protest the takeover of Afghanistan by the Taliban. People carried Afghan flags, raised slogans and demanded rights for women who have been suppressed by the Islamic terrorist group Taliban. People thronged streets of central London and marched on to the office of the United Nations. They echoed in one voice, "We want peace." The protest was against the Taliban's occupation of Afghanistan, and protesters have called on the international community to eradicate the Taliban from Afghanistan. Skirmishes along the India-China border in Sikkim might have decreased, but the army is not ready to let its guard down. The army has deployed the Bofors anti-aircraft guns along the border in Sikkim. The army has deployed Bofors guns near the border as it mobilizes resources to counter China. Bofors guns can be extremely lethal and capable in these different and difficult terrains. The army is conducting multiple drills to be ready for any kind of threat emerging from across the border.
Gun which was inducted into Indian artillery system in late 1980s. This gun has got various characteristics. It can fire up to the range beyond 30 kilometers and engage targets therefore. It can fire various types of ammunition as per the requirement. Also this gun weighs 12 tons. The gun has got an integral APU which helps in the mobility of very short distances.
We can show you the level of alertness and preparedness on Indo-China border in Sikkim. We are at an elevation of around 12,500 feet from sea level, and these are the Bofors tanks which have been deployed here, and it is just beside Indo-China border in Sikkim. And I can tell you after Doklam in 2017, as China is preparing itself on the other side, we are also very much prepared and very much alert, and we can tackle any threat, any situation in Sikkim or in Arunachal Pradesh or anywhere in Indo-China border, at Indo-China border. And it is the level of preparedness here that we can tackle everything within seconds, because Bofors tanks can handle anything within seconds. It can fire 3 rounds within 14 seconds, and at an elevation it is the movement is somehow restricted, but still it is one of the best tanks at an elevation around 12,000 or 16,000 or 15,000 feet where Indo-China border is situated. And the situation often becomes very tense between both countries. With camera person Tapush Bahri, this is Anupam Mishra for India Today in Sikkim.
Welcome back. Former Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Kalyan Singh is no more. He's died due to sepsis and multiple organ failure at Sanjay Gandhi Postgraduate Institute of Medical Sciences in Lucknow last night. UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath accompanies his mortal remains to his residence. The veteran BJP leader was admitted to the hospital in intensive care unit on 4th of July in a critical condition. The state is going to be mourning his loss for the next 3 days. Tributes have been pouring in for the two-time former UP CM. Prime Minister Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath expressed their condolences along with others.
श्री कल्याण सिंह जी भारतीय जनता पार्टी के वरिष्ठ नेता रहे, राम जन्मभूमि आंदोलन के नायक रहे, उत्तर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री रहे और कई सालों तक पिछड़े समाज के हितों की रक्षा के लिए सदैव उन्होंने लड़ाई लड़ी। चाहे उत्तर प्रदेश विधानसभा हो, चाहे देश की संसद हो, वो हमेशा दबे कुचलों का आवाज उठाते रहे।
हम सब के लिए एक दुखद समाचार है। प्रदेश के पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री, राजस्थान और हिमाचल के पूर्व राज्यपाल, भारतीय जनता पार्टी परिवार के वरिष्ठ सदस्य माननीय कल्याण सिंह जी हमारे बीच में नहीं रहे। हम सब दुखी हैं। उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में, एक जननेता के रूप में उन्होंने शासन में शुचिता, दृढ़ता, मूल्यों और आदर्शों के प्रति अपने कार्यकाल के दौरान जो आदर्श प्रस्तुत किए थे वो आज भी मानक बने हुए हैं।
एक युग का अंत हुआ है। उस पीढ़ी में जिन वरिष्ठ नेताओं के नाम आते थे उनमें से कल्याण सिंह जी का नाम था। उनकी निधन पर मैं पूरी भारतीय जनता पार्टी की ओर से, सरकार की ओर से भी गहरा शोक प्रकट करता हूँ।